Hi everyone, Sharon Muniz here, and today we're going to talk about inviting and how to guide conversations to get to an invite. I know that inviting is often one of the scariest parts about being a coach, and it's one of the most easily deflected vital behaviors because it invokes all this sort of fear in us that we're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of what people are thinking. And so that fear and that uncomfortableness, is that a word? That discomfort that comes from extending an invite to somebody that you may or may not know can kind of paralyze us into inaction, where we then don't invite at all. And the longer we go without inviting, the scarier and harder it is to sort of get back into the swing of things. So today we're going to talk a little bit about inviting. We're going to talk a little bit about some ideas on how to bridge the gap between a conversation and an invitation. And we're going to talk about just how to make this work for you and your style of communicating and your business. Okay, so let's dive right into the invitation process. The first thing that you need to always keep in mind is that inviting isn't a pressure situation. Inviting is sort of extending joy to somebody else. Think about where you were when an invitation to join a challenge group or to join Beachbody came across your messenger. You might have rejected it several times before you said yes. You might have said yes right away. But either way, I think if you are in this group now, you have seen what kind of amazingness comes from what we do. And so instead of thinking about the scary factor of having to reach out and talk to people and actually invite them to do this with you, think about those people that need what you needed. Those people that are unhappy, that are looking for an answer with their health and their wellness and their fitness and their nutrition. And you can provide all that. You're like the link that's been missing in their lives. And so when you think about this great blessing that we have as coaches, you want to think about just pouring that blessing into as many people as you possibly can. And then it's up to them whether they are ready or want to take advantage of what you're offering. It's up to you to share it with others. So I'm going to go through some different script ideas for connecting. You want to think about inviting in terms of 3 C's, how I break them down in my head and how I'm going to break them down for you in this challenge group. The first one is connecting. And by connecting, it's building relationships. You've heard about this and how important it is to build a relationship with your prospects because you love them, because you're genuine. And so connecting with them is sort of the first step in the invitation process. And then the second step is caring. It's caring about who they are and what they need and what is going on in their lives, and then offering the invitation that can change their life. And then the third part of inviting is staying consistent. This is something that I know a lot of coaches have trouble with. They get kind of like on an inviting roll, and then something halts them, and then they're back paralyzed in that fear of reaching out and talking to new people. So let's just jump right in. The main thing with connecting is that you're genuine, that you really are interested in learning more about this person. What makes them tick? What's going on in their life? What are their struggles? What's their day like? Who are they? Are they your avatar? And so, you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can check them out on social media and see what's going on in their lives, and then comment on their stuff, and then you can send them a message about something in particular that strikes you. So I'm going to read through 3 different examples of messages I pulled from my messenger, And all of these scripts will be loaded into this training. So once you're done watching the video, you'll be able to go back and pull and look at them word for word. But I'll just read to you what I have here. Hey Marika, how are things going? I saw your daughter and husband went to their first daddy-daughter dance, and the pictures were so sweet. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to handle it when it's Eva's turn. Are you in denial too about how fast they're growing up? So I'm not talking anything about health and fitness or anything else. I'm simply commenting about a photo she posted of her husband and daughter and talking about the phase of life that we're in. Second example was, hey Ginny, oh my gosh, your Disney World pics are so much fun. Did you guys have a blast? We are thinking of a trip with the kids in the next year or two. Do you have any good advice or things we must do or shouldn't do, etc.? So now again, I've noticed that she just got back from Disney World. She posted a ton of really cute pictures. So I scrolled through them and then started a conversation asking her about it. And then the third one is, hi Laura, thank you so much for the love on my progress photos post. It means so much to me to have support from people like you. It's not always easy to put yourself out there, you know, so thank you. How are things? So I thank her for interacting and engaging on my post and then ask, how is she doing? I don't just focus on me. I don't just lead straight into the invite. I ask about how she's doing because I genuinely care. Okay, so the connecting is sort of like building that foundation so that you're not doing these salesy, yucky, cold invites with people who might not be at a place to even consider what you're offering. Okay, so how do we then bridge the gap from inviting to actually talking about Beachbody? Guiding these conversations is a skill, and don't feel overwhelmed or frustrated if you haven't mastered it yet. I've been doing this a couple of years now, and it's taken me quite a bit of time to really feel confident and comfortable with my process. And now yours might look and sound a little bit different based on how you interact, how you type, how you talk. I'm reading to you my scripts, and they basically sound exactly like how I talk. So you shouldn't really notice a difference between me talking to you through this video and when I'm reading my script. They should really sound sort of the same. And so I encourage you with your invites to do that. Go and look back on your messages and make sure that they reflect who you are and how you interact with other people. So how do you guide these conversations? You've started conversations, you've built relationships like we've presented to you in a different training video, but now what? What if those people never ask about what you're doing or never say anything about health and fitness? It feels kind of awkward to then sort of spring it on them out of nowhere. So you have to care about the connection between their life and what you can do. Your health and wellness and fitness and nutrition bleeds into every area of your life. I'll say that again. Your health, wellness, fitness, nutrition bleeds into every other area of life. So if they've talked about any area of their life, I'm guessing you can link it back to a service or product that you can connect them with to help them. So here are my examples. I'm going to go through the same 3 conversations that I did with my connection invites or my connection points. And you can see how I am linking what I can do to help them. So the first one was Marika. This was the daddy-daughter dance photos that I asked about. So the conversation progressed and I said, girl, I know it. It's so hard to be a parent sometimes. It's like you experience every single emotion in the span of a few minutes every single day. It's awesome, but overwhelming too. Do you ever get time for yourself? So my question is, does she ever make herself a priority? And so when she writes back saying, no, I feel like I barely have any time for myself, then I take that conversation and can segue right into an invitation like, girl, you need to. I'm telling you, I used to never make time for myself and I was so unhappy doing that, and I'd love to help you find a way to take care of yourself, to make yourself a priority in your life, because you're going to be such a better wife and mom when you do. So you can see how talking about being a parent and overwhelmed and the craziness of parenting leads to the question, do you ever get time for yourself? Do you ever make yourself a priority? Now I've made something comfortable to invite. Okay, so now let's go to the conversation with Ginny, where I was talking to her about Disney World. I said, thanks so much for the tips. I just jotted them down in my planner. I can't wait to take the kids, but we are waiting till Eva is just a little bit older. I'm sorry to hear it was exhausting, though. Disney World is more like a trip and not exactly a vacation. Haha. One thing I found that helps with keeping up with the kids is a good nutrition and fitness routine. How are those going for you? So I simply mention the connection between keeping up with your kids and health and fitness. I haven't said, I haven't pushed, oh my gosh, Shakeology will totally help you with that. It's more like asking how her fitness and nutrition routine is. How are those going for you? And then she can tell me that, hey, she's rocking her gym, she's eating, following the paleo diet, and then great. I know that I don't necessarily have a natural invitation to any group at that point in time, but I can jot those notes down in my planner for when I follow up with her. Or I could say something like, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're rocking it out. If you ever want to try something new, let me know. I have some new virtual groups kicking off next month. That's it. Okay, but I've taken the idea of being an exhausted, trying to chase after kids and needing more energy and ask the question about how that ties into nutrition and fitness. Okay, now let's take the conversation with Laura. This was the one where I thanked her for loving my post, and I asked her how things are going with her. I said, oh, that's great. I'm glad the kids are doing well and finally over their germs. It's been so bad this winter. Thankfully, we have avoided the worst of it. I swear it's in large part to all the superfoods. I actually have a virtual group coming up where you can sample the superfood shake I drink every day just to test it out and see if it's something that works for you. Would you like an invite? So again, I've taken the idea of talking about her kids being sick, and it was her and her kids were all sick, and turned it around to, I actually do believe that my superfood shake is a big reason why my family stayed really healthy this winter, and then made the invite that, would you like to test it out? I've got a virtual group kicking off. Would you like an invite? Then she can say, you know what, no, I'm not really interested in that right now. Or she can turn around and say, maybe, tell me more, or sure. Whatever her answer is, doesn't matter. You guys, it doesn't matter how the person responds to you. They're not going to have a response if you don't make the link and find a way to guide the conversation from just casual conversation into how you can help them. Because you know that you can help anybody and everybody with what you do. It's just finding the link of how you can connect your experience and your knowledge and your services with them, okay? You have to do the invite first. If they reply back with no, or that they're not interested, or if they reply back maybe, well, it doesn't matter, again, how they respond. As long as you are putting the invite out there, you are going to see success. So I know the worst part about inviting for a lot of coaches is talking about the coaching opportunity, trying to talk to people about what you do and invite them to check it out. This was probably the area that I was the least comfortable in as a new coach, and honestly, it's still the area that challenges me. I sometimes chicken out and feel like I prejudge people and say, well, they're not going to be interested. They're not going to want to do this. And I don't have anybody to invite to coaching. And that's just not the case. That's my own fear of putting myself out there and getting rejected, because then it's almost like not only are they rejecting the coach opportunity, but they're rejecting me and what I do. But that's not the reality. That's what's happening up in my head. So again, personal development, keep that mindset right that I'm actually offering them a blessing, and it's up to them to see it or take advantage of it or not right now. So let's talk through a couple of different examples of how you can invite to the coaching opportunity. The first and most obvious and probably the most comfortable is somebody who's been in your challenge groups and they're completely rocking it and doing a great job. Mine reads something like this. Hi, Alicia. I just had to pop in and tell you how much you are rocking our challenge group. I seriously look forward to your check-ins because they show how much progress you are making. Love how you share your non-scale victories with the group. It inspires everyone. Have you ever considered helping run these groups or checking out what we do as coaches? You're basically already doing it. I'd love to invite you to our next sneak peek into coaching if that's okay. So I'm being genuinely complimentary. It's not just complimenting her to compliment her. These are things that she's actually doing really well in our challenge groups. I'm sorry, these are, again, real conversations that I took from my messenger. And so the words that I'm speaking are accurate, and she knows it. She can feel that sense of genuine support and upliftingness, upliftedness. I don't know what the word is. But then I can say, have you ever considered helping run these groups or learning a little bit more about what it would be like to be a coach? Do you mind if I invite you, if that's okay? Again, it's up to her whether she says yes or not. But I need to put the invite out there and pass that blessing on to her and see if it resonates with her. Okay, now we get into sort of the more uncomfortable part. What about somebody that you think would be great at rocking the business, but who might not be a Rockstar Challenger yet? Maybe they've done a few of your groups or something. This was one that I just did the other day. Hey, Jackie, I just saw your post. I'm so sorry to hear you were laid off. I hope you're doing okay and taking some time to figure out what your next path might be. I totally know how it feels. I was laid off last year and it wasn't easy to process even though I didn't like the job. I actually felt like a failure, but I am loving having more time to earn money through coaching. Is that something you'd ever consider? So again, it's sort of a soft invite. It's just asking her if, coaching is anything she would consider to help bridge that gap from being laid off. And then the third one is just somebody that I've seen on social media who is posting like crazy good stuff. I wrote, Lisa, oh my God, girl, we have to chat. Your posts on social media are so inspiring, and I love how you're sharing your results and healthy eating tips with your friends. You should totally think about being a coach. You would be a natural because you're already doing what we do. Would you like to check out our sneak peek group coming up next week? So it's just, have you ever considered, would you mind if I invited you? So those phrases, lock those in, and if that's not your style of speaking, that's okay. Find something similar that just puts the question out there. Okay? And now let's talk about the third C, which is consistency. So we have connection and caring enough to actually send that invite, and then being consistent with your inviting. So first thing you need to do is set your inviting goals. How many invitations are you going to make per day? Is it going to be 1 a day or maybe 3 a day? Is a good place to start if you're a newer coach. But you might be looking at 5 a day or 10 a day if you're really trying to push your business forward. Or even more than that, if you are a serious business builder, your goal might be 10 to 20 per day. Whatever your goal is, don't compare it to anybody else's goal. So if you're talking to other coaches or seeing other coaches post their accountability, don't worry about what they're doing. Set your goals based on what your overall goals are as a coach, and then invite from there. And then make sure you're tracking those invitations. So whether you're using, a tracker sheet on pen and paper, a notebook, if you're using Google Sheets or Google Streak, or if you're using Teamsy or whatever other tracking system that you might be plugged into right now, track those invitations. Note who you invited, what you invited to them to, and what their response was. Because a lot of them you are going to have to follow up. And if you don't track them, you aren't going to remember all of them that you need to follow up with. And going through your Facebook Messenger, you are going to miss things. It's crazy. So, like I just mentioned, you want to note your follow-ups. Who said yes they want in your group? You're going to have to follow up with them and make sure they get all the details of the group or they get invited to the group. The ones who said, not right now, you need to follow up with them. Follow up until people give you a hard no, a lack of response, or a bunch of excuses or reasons why now is not good. Great. Until they give you a hard no, and by hard no, I mean they say, please stop inviting me. I've had one person do this in the course of my coaching career, and I actually welcomed it because then I didn't have to worry about constantly trying to track her down and re-engage with her. Still have a friendship. I still message her to just ask how things are going with her daughter and everything else, but I know she's not interested in what I have to offer. And when she is, If ever, she knows where to find me. So until they give you a hard no, keep following up. And don't be afraid to give them the opportunity to tell you no. I think a lot of the time we're so scared of hearing that no answer that we just sort of let the question hang out there, and it becomes awkward because then if they don't respond or don't respond favorably, you're not sure how to approach them again in the future. So you just sort of let it lie. But don't be afraid to close out that conversation. You can say something easy like, "Hey Leslie, I know we've tried to connect a few times, but it just really seems like the timing is not right now. I'll be here whenever you're ready to learn more. Do you mind if I just circle back with you later this summer?" That's 6 months from now. So that's letting her know that, hey, I understand life's tough. Maybe now's not good. I'm not giving up on you, but I'll circle back later and see how things are. Sometimes this will get people to say, no, I'm here. I really do want to do this. And they'll re-engage with you. Sometimes they'll be grateful that you gave them the opportunity to take a break from trying to make excuses or telling you different reasons, no, different objections. Just put them on your sort of long-term follow-up list. So then in your tracker, later this summer, you will kick back that conversation and start asking how things are going and seeing, again, leading through the process of connecting, caring, and inviting. Expect crickets. Even the best inviters get them. People get busy, they read your message, and it's not a convenient time for them to respond, and so they just don't, and then they feel bad that they never responded, so they just continue not responding. I know you all are guilty of that once in a while. You forget to respond to a message and it gets buried, or it just gets awkward, and so you just don't say anything. Crickets are going to happen. They don't mean you're doing anything wrong. They don't mean that you're a bad coach. Now, if every single message you send has crickets, you'll want to look at what you're saying and if there's something about the way you're phrasing things that's turning people off. But if you're following the steps in this video about how to invite and then guide the conversation, how to connect and then how to guide that conversation to an invite, that shouldn't happen. And now, one last note. This is mostly based on Facebook. Instagram is a whole different beast. On Instagram, you can invite a lot more directly. You still want to build relationships. You still want to put in the effort to get to know the people on there because they are strangers. But you can be more direct with your messages. After you trade messages a few times, you can say something like, I would say something like, "Oh my gosh, you're such a badass. I love your fitness posts. Are you a coach too? Have you ever thought about coaching others? Have you ever thought about, using your knowledge of health and fitness to help other people?" Whatever that question looks like. But you can be more direct. Once you've established a connection in a relationship, you've gone back and forth a few times, you can be more than direct about the coach opportunity or inviting to a challenge group. Say, "Hey, I saw your post that you're trying to get more organized. I'm actually hosting a virtual group that we're all going to work together on decluttering. Would that be something you want to do?" Easy, okay? It sounds so hard in our heads when we're building it up into this big, scary thing. But when you break it down and find I'll say a script system, and that doesn't mean that it's word for word copy paste what you do, but it's a style and sort of a set of phrases that you can use to make your invites natural and effective. So I hope this training was helpful. We will have some of these script ideas posted here for you. If you need more ideas, let your upline coach know. And I want you to comment and post as your takeaway from this video, what is the one biggest aha moment you got while watching this? What was one thing that I talked about that you hadn't thought of in the same way? So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you have any questions at all, of course, you let any of us know. Thanks, guys.